Hi, my name is Annie and welcome to Tennessee. Today we will be going over how to glaze a piece of pottery using wax resist. Wax resist, just like the name says, is that the wax helps resist the glaze. So wherever you put wax resist on your pottery piece, the glaze will not stick. Now that's important because if this piece were to be glazed all the way to the bottom, the glaze could run onto the kiln shelf and you would ruin your kiln shelf. So you always want to have a clean, crisp foot and base of your pottery piece. And this foot is achieved during the trimming phase of the pottery piece, and that will be for part 2 of our video series. This is how you get started. You start out with a piece of bisque-ware that just came out of the kiln, and you want to take your wax resist. I like to use an angled brush, and you're going to put wax resist on the base and just on the foot of your piece. Now, you won't be able to see where the wax resist is because it is this cream color, but if you're new and you want, they do sell a wax resist that is tinted with blue to help you get your lines right. Because if I were to drop wax resist somewhere else on the pottery piece, then the glaze wouldn't stick to that spot and it might look funky. So here we go. I'm going to start by simply putting the wax resist carefully on the base of the piece, and then I'll take not too much wax resist on my brush, kind of clean it off and go just around the edge of the foot. Just a nice thin layer, and this will help me to wash the excess glaze off of the foot. If you've ever worked with pottery, you'll know that a bisque piece is very lightweight and absorbent, and it will suck the glaze into it. So sometimes if you want to wipe glaze off of a bisque-ware piece, it doesn't always work. So this wax resist is really handy. So there, I've put wax resist on the base and on the foot. And then you want to let that dry. You don't want to glaze right away. That wax resist needs to dry, and I'd say 10 or 15 minutes. So here's a piece of a bisque pottery that is with wax resist. I've already placed that on there. So I want to show you how to glaze this piece. And I like to use the Amico brand, but any type of food safe glaze for cone 5, cone 6 will work. And I'm using tourmaline, which is basically this color right here. So that's a beautiful green. All right, so we open it up, we give it a good shake. If you're very diligent, you'll stir it up, but I just like to shake it, not have to dirty a spoon. So I take my glaze, and I usually start at the bottom of the bowl, and I will do approximately 2 coats. Although I don't let it dry in between. I just put 2 coats and keep on glazing. So you have a nice thick coat. As you get to know your glazes, you'll know how thick to put your glaze. You can go thicker on the inside of the bowl because the glaze will drip down into the middle of the bowl. Whereas on the outside, you don't want to get too thick, or like I said, it can run. So see how nicely when I put the glaze down at the bottom, it almost already resists because of that wax resist, so I'll have hardly anything to clean up. And I do like to put a lot of glaze on the rim so that your rim right up here is nice and shiny and thick and full of glaze. Just gives it a nice touch. So I'm going around and I will stop right about there. You will, of course, finish glazing your piece. But I just want to show you after you've glazed your piece of bisque-ware, then you will have something that looks like this, and sometimes there is glaze on the bottom of the piece. And of course you want to get that off so it doesn't stick to the kiln shelf. So if you just take a clean sponge with water and you're going to just kind of press kind of hard, get that glaze off of the foot of your piece, and you can see it wipes off fairly easily all the way around. And then you're left with a really nice, clean line, unglazed base and foot of your piece. And then this is ready to high fire. And thank you so much for watching. See you on part 2.
I am the cameraman and I approve this video.